Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Micah back at it again, Homegrown Podcast, episode 3. But this is a podcast where we basically talk about how creativity plays a part in every industry, no matter what you do. So, with me, and saying that, I got a homie named Phillip here. He is a photographer and master of many talents, as I hear. I'll let you introduce yourself, though.
Yeah, Phil Hernandez, originally from the Mid-Atlantic East Coast, and I moved to San Diego in 2020. I primarily do surf photography and travel and brand photography.
Tight.
Yeah.
Tight, man. And how'd you kind of get started in that field? And actually, let me circle back all the way from the beginning. How'd you get started into photography and stuff?
Yeah. Interesting, because I think the way that I've answered this before is like I've always been the person in my family who's had the camera, so like
Yeah.
that's where my initial interest came from. You look at a lot of like family photos, like I'm not in them because I'm taking the photograph. But fast forward, high school, college, I was always a kid with the camera, at parties or just always around.
Tight.
And then I think professionally, once I started my job, which I'd mentioned to you earlier when we were chatting, I was looking for a creative outlet because, I was kind of getting a little bit in my head about working a desk job and like wearing a tie all the time, and I just didn't feel creative. So I went to the thing that I loved the most, which happened to be photography at the time. I was still traveling, would always have my camera with me. So it just felt natural to kind of like try and jump back into that work.
Yeah.
And try and make it work out for me creatively. Touched base with another friend of mine from high school, with my best friend, and we actually, outside of our professional careers, while we were still in DC in our 20s, decided to make a collective, a black and white collective.
Nice.
So we ventured into fine art. That was sort of like our outlet outside of work, connected, and that led to kind of like professional work from there. So
Nice.
and then since then, of course, paired that with like my interest in surfing. So now I do surf photography just because I don't do a lot of black and white fine art out here in San Diego. It's too pretty. There's not a lot of like brutalist architecture that we used to have back on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So it's I just work in the environment that I'm kind of subjected to.
Yeah. A product of your environment,
Yeah.
some might say, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's sick, dude. So you guys did a collective back there. How'd you kind of move to San Diego from DC area?
That was just strictly from, I think, like this yearning to surf more. I knew that like the nearest break to me back home was probably 2.5 hours, and I'd regularly get skunked, and I just didn't like the idea of having to always travel just to surf, because I just always felt like an outsider. And I've been to like really coveted Mecca surf spots like all over the Philippines and like Indonesia, and it just didn't feel right. I wanted to like find a place where I could go regularly. And of course COVID happened, and it was like we're feeling pretty cloistered being at home, and it's like we got to move. We'd always talked about San Diego. So yes, unfortunately a transplant, but like I make the most out of it. I'm trying to ingrain myself with the community as much as I can, and it just felt right to move here. So
That's dope, bro.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, I mean, bro, I wouldn't even consider a transplant because you're really taking full, like, you're taking full advantage of this area,
yeah, I would say so.
As most people don't, getting in the water. You said you like go fishing or like spear fishing, right?
Yeah,
Or diving.
I go diving, get on the boats with friends who go spearfishing and try and document their stories.
That's dope.
A lot of what I do outside of like the brand work is just to document other people's excursions and like how they interact with the water. So that's kind of big then for me.
What kind of brought you to like, where'd you get that love for the water? You think it's in like your blood?
That's in my blood, yeah.
Yeah.
So growing up, I think maybe I'd mentioned earlier when we were chatting is like we traveled a lot, and one of the places we traveled to was home, quote unquote. So we go to the Philippines almost every year for like the first half of my life.
Wow.
So I spent a lot of time at the beach or, by the ocean. Family who lived around those areas. So yeah, like whole summers too.
Damn.
Not just like a few days at a time. It was like weeks to almost months of my life during the summers were spent there. So I think a lot of that lately, or like kind of like as I'd sort of seen where I wanted to go with the rest of my life, I was like, I kind of want to get back to that, and how much joy that brought me. So of course, here we are.
Yeah. Here in the States.
Yeah.
Dang, what part of the Philippines?
Metro Manila is
Okay.
where most of my family's from, but like learning more about my heritage, like the northwestern side, where there's some beaches as well. And then I have family friends in like Cebu and the southern side. So
Sick. Cebu. Yeah. Bro, there's some crazy breaks out there too.
yeah.
And I've always wanted to go to Siargao.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm.
Siargao. Oh my God, that looks beautiful.
Yeah, they have Cloud9 is like their premier break
right there.
off the pier. I follow so many other surf photographers from there and like try and connect with them just because I definitely want to shoot more out there. That's actually the one place I have not been. But yeah, definitely on my bucket list.
What's that travel time from DC to Philippines?
It used to be, it was like a full day event.
Mm-hmm.
I think now you can take a nonstop flight that may take 11 to 13 hours to Tokyo, and then Tokyo down to either Manila or Cebu is like another 6 hours. So it takes like a full 24 hours.
Yeah, to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's from DC, or is that from San Diego?
That's from DC.
Oh, wow.
I think from San Diego, I know from LA now you can get direct, and it's something like 13 to 14 hours.
Not horrible.
It's not terrible. If you're used to traveling long trips, then yeah, it's not too bad. Most people, like 6 hours is pretty
Oh man, it's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how'd you kind of get linked in with those brands and stuff that you've been working with, and what kind of brands are you working with, actually?
Recently, beverage, and that's been through friends who have agencies and things like that. But prior to that, I was very much focused on surf or surf adjacent brands. So like worked with a couple wax brands, clothing brands, like surf accessory brands. So like people make their own fins and things like that. And often it's like either word of mouth or, I reach out directly. There's not really, I don't use like any inbound marketing system for that kind of thing, just because I don't find it that important at this stage. But yeah, that's typically how it works.
That's really dope, how your kind of creativity kind of led you to link up with people in the community, and the community really like bounce back and like put you on game, and like threw your name out to like other fans and stuff, or other brands and stuff.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
It worked out organically. I didn't think I was gonna do this sort of all that other side work the way I do now, or that it would happen the way that it did. But I'm regularly putting myself out there. I'm regularly meeting people and just talking about my work. And I think in doing that, it's brought those types of people to me who want to work with me.
And those opportunities,
exactly.
man.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. Doing it. Were you so when you were working kind of like your like linear job, like office job, some might say, right?
Yeah.
Did you kind of like you use your photography as an escape?
Yeah.
Were you as like dedicated as you were to like going like 9 to 5? Like, would you come back home and like hustle, grind it, or did you just like kind of like, like this is my creative outlet, I'm just gonna do me with it, sort of thing? Or
yeah, okay, so it's interesting because I was really dedicated to my career in DC at the time, because I got to work at this prestigious institution, and as much fun as I was having, I knew like the work really meant something. So I did put myself into that job a fair amount, but again, like my creative temperament wasn't being fed. So I'm a little bit older, and my generation, after work, the happy hour culture is really big.
Yep.
So meeting lots of people through happy hour is kind of like a main thing. So it kind of started just like I would have a camera with me, and I would go out to,
these
bars
yeah.
or clubs. Excuse me. But then, sorry.
Oh, good. Yeah.
But like, my buddy Ned would tag along, and he had come back from his travels, and he
Is that the Black and White Collective?
Yeah,
dude?
my buddy Ned. He's actually like my high school friend. I've known him forever. We're besties and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Always,
as the kids call it.
Yeah, we're besties. We rock creative ideas off of each other all the time.
Dope.
And that's how that kind of formed. Is like, hey, let's meet up after work.
Happy
let's
hour.
go take photographs by this place. Like, yeah, and the coolest thing is like a lot of the bars at the time were places that we would meet up. Like these haunts were inside or really close to incredible architecture or like really moody lighting.
Yeah.
And then pair that with, we were both skating a lot. So it just like this aesthetic kind of grew where we're skating around, like we still have our suits on and we've got our cameras, and it's like, we're getting deeper and deeper into the night.
Yeah.
The moodiness from the photographs kind of just built this whole sort of neo film noir kind of scene for us. And that just felt good. It felt good to like escape to that all the time.
So a little street too.
Yeah,
a little street rat.
A little bit of
skate
street
hoodlums, bro.
Mm-hmm. So
That's
I mean,
cool.
it was just like, it was almost like being like a detective. Like we'd leave our office, and then like all of a sudden, like we're on like a mission.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was that whole like escapism part of it.
Nice,
so I definitely
man.
put a lot of myself into that channel because it just felt good, and like I knew, even if it wasn't like, I'm not about getting famous or anything like that, or like making it big. That wasn't like the point. It was like I got to create some cool stuff with my friends, and we had a good time doing it. So
that's sick.
yeah.
I like that. And so what kind of camera were you running with during those times? And what year was this too? So I can like give like a...
The start was maybe like 2015.
Fuck.
Yeah, so
fire year,
10
man.
years ago. Yeah, fire year. 2015, and then for a couple of years, like back and forth, we were traveling different places, and then it was like
different countries.
Yeah, different countries. And then we were talking about, hey, let's do this at home. Let's like sort of structure, our photography, so to speak, into like a collective and like channel it. Like we'll vet each other's work.
Yeah.
Like we really put a creative process around it, even though outside of it, like we're going to like raves and bars and like.
That's badass.
But like gear wise, I started with actually A6000 Sony. So that's like an A600 series camera, I think that's on there. And it was that and like a 20 millimeter lens, so like 24 millimeters. I love to shoot wide, huge, like vignettes and spaces and things. And it was super compact, and I loved that I could just burst and we could just skate, and I could put it in my pocket, and like,
bro.
And I didn't have to worry about like if I fell, like while I was skating, if nothing was gonna happen to that thing.
Yeah.
And then we both got into film, so various film cameras. I ended up getting like a Contax G2 as like one of my first film cameras. That was bad mistake because it's bound to fail. It's got a lot of mechanical parts, electric mechanical parts. And then I switched to Fuji, all sorts of Fuji film. I went through a bunch of other rounds of Sony, and now I primarily shoot Leica just because I know what I like.
Yeah.
Not because I think it's better. Just big disclaimer on that.
Yeah.
I don't think that. There's cameras that do better things than what my cameras do. But I picked that just because I like the way they feel. I like the way they look. I like the way they make me feel when I go shoot. So that's what I shoot now.
That's dope, bro. That's a cool ass story. What was the first country you went to besides Philippines?
Oh.
That you had
First?
your own experience, like you
Yeah.
fully immersed in the culture. You were going through that film noir, like
Yeah, like not like when I was a kid, like
yeah,
just
not
being
when
brought
you're a kid,
around.
exactly.
I would say Tokyo, but it's actually not Tokyo. Tokyo, I hadn't really had that experience in Japan. Not yet. I've been to Japan a few times, and I still haven't had that experience because I didn't get to experience Japan that way. But I would say Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Um,
What was
I
that like? Talk
was
about that experience.
that was interesting. I was studying abroad, and at the time, I had only had a little point and shoot digicam,
Mm-hmm.
like the slide would go down and then the lens would come out. Like this, I'm talking like this is old, maybe 8 megapixels.
Mm-hmm.
But I shot everything on this camera, and similar process. We would get a little bit, get into our minds. We'd go have fun. We'd go to all these bars. International experience. I don't know, when you travel, like, and you're going to these places and interacting with so many people from around the world. It's not like going to a bar here,
Yeah.
People have so many different stories to tell. So just, you're immediately put into like another world when you talk to strangers
Mhm.
at a bar across the world. If you've had that experience, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, and I just remember always having my camera and like me learning to chase the light because inevitably it would get too late to shoot, bright sunlight. So we'd be in like dim lit alleys or, around the corners of like these corner stores and things, and like having to figure out how to shape the light around people and like around the architecture. I think that was the first time, like Hong Kong for sure. So much like, it's almost like, I don't even know how to explain it. Maybe like if you've seen Christopher Nolan's Batman,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
those really dark alleys and like
Yeah.
the orange glow. I just imagine that, and I can definitely see that in some of the photographs I used to take. Yeah.
That's how old were you during this?
At that time, I had
Trip?
just turned 21, so yeah.
Hell of a time, bro.
Yeah.
Were you still skating out there? Like, what was the skate scene like? if you
No.
were?
At that point, I hadn't been skating. I didn't pick skating back up until after college.
Mm.
So some time had passed between like college when I went to start working and then like when I started doing it again. So yeah.
It's badass. So, what were some highlight trips that you've had over the years?
You think about that. I think creatively, I don't know. There's so many.
Probably that Hong Kong trip started that fire, though.
I would say I
Yeah.
love going to. I like Southeast Asia in general. There's something about like the scale that is like, it's unsettling, but at the same time, like, there's so much to see and there's
Yeah.
so much to like mold to the way that you want to see it.
Yeah.
I've also been to like Shanghai in China. Also like a very futuristic neo, like it's just, there's so much going on
Is
there.
it city-like? Like, for the people that have never been to China, like, how would you compare it to something in America, United States?
If you took like every megatropolis
City?
city and put it together and
For
cleaned
real?
it up, that's what it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. It's just like
Insane.
absolutely insane.
Architecture. What can you say about the architecture out there?
Like only modern.
Only modern?
I mean, particularly that city. If we're talking about Shanghai, like
Okay.
there are some areas that are like, like you go to most older cities and there's like an old town and like a preserved like cultural area. Of course
Yeah.
they have that. And like their finance district has lots of like older, I think French design is what maybe if I'm getting that right. So it even has sort of like DC
influence.
vibes
Yeah.
actually.
Wow.
But the skyline is what is the most stark about those like mega cities. You just see massive structures, colorful, lots of lights at night. I think that was another thing.
Neon lights?
Yeah, all the buildings are like striped in neon, so like the whole city glows. But in terms of like surf,
Yeah.
New Zealand
New
is the one
Zealand?
that's New Zealand. Yeah, exactly. All those.
Bro, it's beautiful out
It's
there.
so
huh?
pretty. My wife and I only did the North Island, and it took us 2 weeks.
What islands are those? I'm not.
So there's a North and a
well-versed
South
in-
Island.
Okay.
And South Island's a little bit more remote. There's not as much city life. But we only did the North Island because we didn't have.
That's the north. It's more remote. You said.
No, the North has Auckland and
Okay.
like
Oh,
lots
okay.
of
Yeah, that's
coastal
the-
cities. I
Gotcha.
feel like the South. I might be getting this wrong. I feel like the South is a little bit more remote. We just didn't have the option to stay as long as we wanted to. I think you need like a whole month to really enjoy because everything is spread out, and there's just so much to
Village-like,
do.
or is like small
Lots
towns?
of small towns.
Okay.
I know we rented a car. Like I had a surfboard on the car, and we just like went basically a big circle, and then like in the middle, and then back to Auckland. But yeah, everywhere we stopped was very like not remote, but it wasn't just like it's not dense. You know, when you visit like a new place and there's just tons of people.
Opposite of Shanghai.
Yeah, exactly. Opposite of Shanghai, opposite of Hong Kong. But that one stood out to me because I wasn't really doing surf photography at that point so much, but I did have a underwater film camera. So I had a Nikonos 5.
Sick.
And I'd use that to kind of like, I'll get in the water, I'll shoot some waves, but it wasn't like fully sold yet, you know? I was more like, let me focus on surfing. Let me focus on just like being in the water. It wasn't really until I moved here that I was like, well, now I don't have anything to shoot, you know, like I need to shoot surf. So.
Sick, bro. Sick. New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand. I love New Zealand.
No, it looks beautiful out there. I was kind of thinking about like how man has shaped like architecture in cities like Shanghai, New York City, you know, and there's a certain beauty in that. And then you go to places like New Zealand where it's like that's natural beauty, you know what I mean?
And there's tons of it. And it's funny because like Auckland by other standards is like this, it's their city. It's like
their capital.
Their capital
whatever,
city, but it's not big. It's not massive. The scale doesn't feel the same way as like when you go to New York. Yeah.
Sick, bro. Okay, so pivot back. I want to know how like that linear path, like in your career, you know, that 9 to 5 kind of like shaped your creativeness. Like, how did you incorporate that into like your discipline and your structure when it comes to doing your creative stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's a surprising question. Because I always think of it, I don't really talk about that so much actually, because I think of it as very binary. It's like, here's my job, and then here is my creative stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how I'd always tell people about it, because I didn't like trying to make my job
Incorporate
sexy or vice versa. But no, that's actually...
Because they're both a part of you, you know what I mean?
I would say from like a professional standpoint on what I do now, a lot of like project management skills and like stakeholder management, like dealing with clients, for example, came from that.
Gotcha.
I'm very anticipatory, so like before people start talking to me about something, I like kind of have an idea of how the conversation is going to go.
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes from that work environment that I had. And then I would say, I mean, something like really simple is like how I structure my folders when I save things. They're very, very detailed. Do I always use them? No. But a lot of that comes from that very linear work job.
Yeah.
That professional career. So, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Dude, I like that answer a lot. And that's cool how you didn't like realize it, you know, till like right now you're like that's so okay, yeah, that stuff. Sorry, I'm just going through my head of questions because there's so much to ask you, you know, like you've done a lot of things, seen a lot of things, and now you're full-time photography, videography as well, or
I do some, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's project by project. I don't blast out that I do it necessarily, but if it comes up, it's always like, this is what I'm capable of. Like, here's how much editing I can do. It's just like a lot more process.
What's your kind of discipline when it comes to editing and stuff like that? Do you kind of just like do it because you have to? Do you kind of like lock in the mornings? Do you kind of work around your already built out schedule? Or
yeah, I work in blocks now, so I schedule a specific time from each day to just, this is when I work on content, type of time. That's about as much discipline as I have now. And I try to stick to it. Like,
is it like hours at a time?
Yeah. So typically it's like, here's when I'm allowed to go surf. Here's when I'm walking my dog. Here's when I'm going to clean the house. Here's when I'm going to sit down, offload all my memory cards, do a little business admin, and then, try and deliver files to clients, like that kind of thing. Like, I try to be regimented. And that's kind of like, that comes also from my old job. It's like, it was actually a little bit sporadic. There would just be meetings, random meetings, and I didn't love not having like blocked off time for myself. So now I like try and rein that in for myself. Like, if I don't do it this way, I never get anything done. So,
structure.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. I like that. I was gonna say, any more upcoming trips that you're looking forward to, or trips of the past, some good stories to tell?
Upcoming, I was supposed to go to Costa Rica twice this year, but just didn't happen. Work came up, for both myself and my wife, so we just weren't able to make the time. But we are moving that to some point next year. So Costa Rica for sure.
For pleasure or work?
It'll be mostly for relaxing and just pleasure. But I always, whenever I see an opportunity, I'm like, hey, I could reach out to this brand, or maybe this hotel wants to do something. So luckily my wife is cool with that kind of stuff. So I have the freedom to be able to work, but also enjoy myself. Canada, I think we're going to a couple places in Canada, just change of scene. And then I am likely going to go back to the Philippines twice next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of cool traveling in the horizon. What I wanted to ask too, because how do you deal with like rejection? I'm sure you've dealt with like a lot of rejection from companies, reaching out.
Yeah.
Does that kind of like
for a while, and I tried to give this a go like a couple of years ago, maybe a few years ago at this point. It's 2026 coming up. So like the end of 2022, I left that original job, and it was in a space where I could basically not work for a while. And I said, I'm going to try and do photography for, full time, but I wasn't really set up. There was just things in place that I hadn't done, like things with my portfolio, just experience in general. And even though I had like sort of like the business acumen, I wasn't going to get that connection to a lot of people, just because you got to build a lot of relationships and just like get your chops, just like in surfing, you got to get your chops in the water. You don't just get to go to the point.
Yeah. Get your reps in.
So yeah, I don't know. I think some of it just has to do with having a thick skin.
Yeah.
Like, I get, not wanting to spend a lot of budget by taking a chance on someone who is kind of just giving this a go, versus now where like I have projects to show people.
Years of experience.
Yeah, the experience, and like I built relationships with a lot of people.
References,
run those operations where it's like, hey, I can persuade them on, a project or like a retainer type thing, just simply because the trust is there. But dealing with the rejection in general, it's just, I mean, I've always had a thick skin.
Yeah.
I've also always had like a sharp tongue. So when it comes to it, like, just dealing with those conversations, it's like, just remaining sort of resilient is pretty normal to me. So
That's awesome, bro. That's kind of what you got to do in this make or break, industry, right?
Mhm. And the other thing is just like realizing there's always another opportunity.
Yeah.
It's not, a dry well, at least not at this point. So, yeah.
I feel like you have a better lens of like what companies are looking for now that you've kind of been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Too. So like having a big portfolio to like kind of show them what you've done in the past and other brands to build your credibility.
Yeah.
When pitching those things.
For sure.
It's cool, bro. And you always got to start somewhere. I like how those beginning stages, of just after work, hitting those happy hours, kind of just bringing your camera with you wherever you went. You kind of shaped and molded you along with your business profession, to where you're at now. Like, is this something that you had on the horizon during those days? Like, I know you said you didn't necessarily want to become famous, but is this something that you knew that you wanted to do full time back then?
Yeah, I just didn't think in the same capacity. I thought it was going to be more like art sales or big exhibits. And the cool thing was like I have a lot of that under my belt now, but I thought it was just going to continue. But that's not a reality if you're just approaching it as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how much artists pivot in order to like keep themselves afloat. Especially at that time, it was very dreamlike because, we were getting all these write-ups and like a lot of attention, but not seeing vision-wise how it was supposed to be a business. At that time, like that kind of slowed things down. So now it was more like the way that I approach it now is like, it's very pragmatic. I understand there's like a big portion of business to all of it, but then I balance it out because I try and see things creatively constantly. So it's like, let me just go and do the creative thing. Let me go in the water, right? I'm going to have my camera in the car. Or if I'm going to go for, an event with some friends, I'm going to bring the camera just in case. Let me just potential. Same with travel. Like, I'm going to have a camera just in case because I want that outlet for myself. So, yeah.
Escapism.
Yep.
You're saying.
Same thing.
Man, it's cool. I had a bunch of questions and then how things blank out sometimes.
It happens.
Favorite surf breakout in San Diego? Or can you not disclose that information?
No, I can. Oh, no. For me, actually, it's Pipes. I like Pipes.
Yeah.
I love to go there like right when people are leaving Dawn Patrol and that sort of next round of people think the tide's going to switch, and I'm already there. That's what I love.
9, 10 o'clock.
I think now for winter, like right before that. And then it's like, it's really clean. The wind hasn't changed over. There's not too many people out yet. Or there isn't like a pack on like the main peak. And then of course that area, like again, we were talking earlier about the breaks here. It's like that part of North County, there's so much space.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You could always find your little peak.
Yeah. And that's what I like doing. I will literally paddle myself until it's like, I don't see anyone. All right, this is mine.
Now, what are you riding nowadays when you're heading out to Pipes?
So the Groveler that I have, I always have that in my car now because I can throw it in my car, and if things change up and it gets a little bit more step up, then I'll take that with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I love riding my 9.2. I have like a mini glider.
Nice.
Yeah. I wasn't a longboard guy for a long time, but it's just easy.
And you're at Pipes, man.
Yeah. And you have to. And it's a slower wave, so you can just cruise.
Can you hang 10?
No. I don't go to the front. I'm not like a walker. I like to set my line. And this board that I use, you kind of sit in the middle and like glide long lines, and it's super fun.
Yeah. Bro, that feeling is beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything like that.
Yeah. And that board is made, it feels like it's made for that spot too.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you set your rail and it just long. Long down the face and then short, like it's perfect.
and that top turn, you get that bottom turn in, you go, bro. Do you ever hit swamis down the way?
I do swamis. I've only surfed swamis a handful of times, actually, which is funny because I shoot swamis a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, swamis is one of the easier places to shoot because it's a very clear channel. And even with the current, when there is a current, it's easy to get back into position. And you can shoot. As long as people are coming down the line, you can shoot from position almost perfectly every single time.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. That right hand break.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go out on big days too?
I do.
Bigger swells?
I think my limit for surfing is like 6 to 8 feet. Like that's when I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I'm already like in my head, when I'm paddling out.
You just got your fins on you and then the camera when you're shooting?
When I'm shooting though, I mean, biggest was probably a couple years ago. We had a big winter swell, and our premier canyon break was going off.
Mm-hmm.
So that was about there must have been 10 to 15 is like the normal set that was rolling through, but
Jeez.
Occasionally a really massive 20-foot would come through.
No way.
Yeah.
Where were you shooting? Blacks?
So blacks.
Holy.
And shout out to my buddy Blair. I don't know if you guys know Blair. I saw him in the parking lot on my way down, and he had just gotten out, and I was getting in. I maybe had 40 minutes before the sun got down, and I was like, I gotta go. I gotta get out there. He's just you don't forget to swim around it. First few, I managed to swim around. And by the fire ramp, I don't know. I'm not gonna talk too much about the specifics, but the way some of the peaks meet and meet up at the ramp, you really just want to go wide, otherwise you're just gonna get slammed every single time. And I remember the North Peak was going way off, and I was like, oh, it's so beautiful.
Nuts.
And at this point, I'm maybe 20 yards from the edge of the coastline, and I'm sitting in ankle deep water, and I can feel the water suck out, and I'm like, oh, no, I gotta get this photo. And I take a photo, and now I'm like, oh fuck, I'm fucked. And big cleanup comes through, and I can't even get out. I can't even run back because it's just pulling me back. And I think I just sat in the whitewash for a good couple minutes, just taking waves on the head, and just laughing my ass off because I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
It's not that bad, but it's also I knew what I was doing. I knew the sacrifice I had made just to take that photograph. So I was like, all right, let me just wait it out. And by the time it started to calm down, I found a little break to kind of run up. I can see, ambulance? No, it was a fire truck.
Uh-huh.
A fire truck had been called down, and I was so I was shitting myself because I'm like, oh my God, somebody called the lifeguards to come rescue me, and I'm laughing my ass off. I'm like, I'm good. It wasn't I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm still and there's my GoPro is on. I always remember looking at this video because you can hear me laughing, cackling because I'm like, oh my God, somebody called 911. And then luckily I was like, oh, I look down, and it's a dad and his son is gushing blood.
Wow.
Because he had hit him in the face with his fin. And I was like, oh, phew. And I was like, oh, no, wait, that's terrible.
Yeah.
But, took my photos and then, ran up the fire ramp to try and get it back to my car. And
was the photo worth it?
No, the photo wasn't worth it. The photo of them wasn't worth it. The photo that I took
of the wave
to eat
before you got worse.
Yes, very worth it. That one I think I have pinned on my profile. It's super pink sky and a maybe 12, 15-foot wave.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but it's from a very far perspective because I'm by the south ramp looking at the north. But yeah, I think it was worth it.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it.
That swim was fun. There might have been 3 other guys out.
Nothing humbles you more than that moment, though.
Yeah.
Just being a victim to the ocean's energy.
Yeah.
Like that.
And I had a session the other day. And it wasn't crazy, you know. It was super clean. This must have been 2 weeks ago, actually. Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. The winds are offshore, and it must have been,
Beautiful.
like 4-foot waves. Nothing crazy,
Mm.
but like not paying attention, and I'm trying to get photographs, and like waves are just hitting me in the head, and I don't know. That feeling is kind of fun. You get a little bit tumbled.
Yeah,
You just kind of let go. Like
you have to.
you have to, yeah. And if you tense up, you're kind of in trouble.
Uh-huh.
So like once you've learned how to just like,
Let it go.
yeah, it's kind of the same feeling as like if you're pulling into like a closeout thinking it's gonna barrel. It's like the same kind of thing, you know. You're committing, and you're just gonna let the water just
Take you.
take you. Yeah, I like it.
I think there's a metaphor to life in that sense right there, man.
Yeah,
Just gotta learn to let go a little bit.
a little bit.
Running back though, how do you deal with like going through writer's block or like a slow moment in your like career and stuff?
Yeah, like lulls.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm technically a lull. Still have projects, but I mean, the first one's just to get in the water if you can. It's tough when it rains here.
Mhm.
If it rains, really messed up. Like
All that
all the
sewage,
bad
man.
habits come back out. You know, it's like I'm gonna eat bad. I'm
Yep.
gonna do all these things to like get in my feelings and then like not do what I need to be doing. But on the flip side, when you can get in the water, that's like the first thing. So usually I just go surf or I'll go shoot something. The second is I talk a lot.
Mm.
And when I say I talk a lot, like I'm always hitting up my friends or asking people about their photographs or like their projects and like getting new ideas, because just learning from other people is super important, I think. That's how I get a lot of my energy, is just talking to other people. So that's number 2. And then number 3, I like to walk my dog.
There's something about those little walks like
Yeah.
that though.
Yeah. You go to the park, go to the beach, just walk the dog.
Do ideas pop up in your head while you're doing these like mundane tasks?
Like walking the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because normally you're so focused on, at least for me, I don't usually bring my phone when I walk my dog, so
Mhm.
we're always just kind of like observing together.
Distracted, yeah.
And yeah, a lot of ideas will come up that way. It's kind of like when people get shower thoughts, I think.
Yeah.
The same kind of
Yeah.
thing. You're in a meditative state. Some people
A
meditate.
flow state, yeah.
Yeah. I don't like, you know,
Yeah,
sit down and do
focusing,
that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
do
the
whole
same. I think I'm too ADHD to do that. So
Quick question. I was gonna say, what do you think about? Do you see a difference in what some of these companies you're working with are after nowadays with like the new TikTok stuff? Or I guess it's not new, right? It's been going on for the last few years, like the short form content stuff.
yeah.
You know, whereas probably when you started, it was like more like photos and like longer videos, right? Like
Yeah.
Vimeo was a thing, like
Vimeo was a thing,
YouTube. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
It's funny you mentioned that, because I know when we started the collective,
Mhm.
the black and white stuff, we only had Instagram and there was no reels at the time. Videos were capped at like 15 seconds. And you could add music, but it was a very limited library.
Mhm.
But music played a big role into like how we made that work. So that we pair lots of photographs to music. And actually it's interesting because some brands actually look for that sort of creativity now, maybe not for their total content library. What I see a lot now is like, at least with the brands that I've worked with, they want assets that they can potentially make either short form or long form content from, you know? They just want versatility.
Yeah.
And I think that's smart, because from the trends that I've been learning about, it looks like long form is actually going to come back, because short form is so damaging, and it's just like, it doesn't do a whole lot, and people are becoming really privy to like the tricks around like being marketed to. So people want to learn, and people want to like experience something when they're ingesting content. So long form, I think, is on its way back. Maybe not, super big documentary styles on TikTok, but not those like 7-second like hook to get you kind of things.
Yeah.
And some of the brands that I work with are they're looking for just versatility in general.
That's a cool point. Yeah. I never really thought about it like that, but it makes sense. Also, another deeper question, like, what do you think about AI in that sense?
It's kind of like Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Like, we're kind of stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't fight it.
And it's just developing more. And
yeah. But the thing is, it can't be everything that you do. I know I deployed AI to my website a few years ago, and it did a great job, like pre-writing blogs for me.
Oh, tight.
I would just like post a photo to the little script writer, and then it would like formulate whole, like, those lists, like 10 tips on like where to sit in the lineup, and like I didn't write that. And I hated it. But it worked in terms of like the way the algorithms were working for like my website and views. It worked immaculately. I was getting thousands of page views to my website, which was completely different from like the 10 or 20 that I was getting.
Yeah.
Unless it was like forcing it down people's throat, like, here, click on this link. It worked. And the thing is, like, I wasn't happy with the results as well, despite getting page views, because now I have all this content that doesn't mean a whole lot. It wasn't connecting me to people. It's tough though, like trying to compete with people who leverage AI almost entirely. Like, that's all they do, because I think that's just like the new culture clash. But again, I said it's like Pandora's box. Like, we're kind of stuck with it. You have to learn it. I think there's lots of good tools when it comes to AI, like just in terms of like supporting the stuff that you do. I don't do really any AI in my photography work, except for like, like erase this, little blemish here and there.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not like, I'm not creating whole buildings or like putting people on waves and things like that. Like that, I draw the line there. Like, if you're doing that, like, don't talk to me. Like, we're not in the same group. You're not allowed to do that. That's disrespectful.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be tough to manage over the next few years
as it gets more developed.
Exactly.
And it's hard to distinct, like, what's...
It's really hard to distinguish what's real and what's not anymore. Like, you really have to take a good look at some photographs before you're like, oh my God, this is fake. I've seen a couple of guys experiment with like A/B testing, like, hey, is this real or is this not? And it's like a picture of a wave, at a very specific spot, and there's like no way.
Yeah.
Unless they straight up tell you, because it's like, how am I supposed to discern real water versus like there's no way.
Yeah. Bro. Yeah, it's crazy to think about where it's coming to, but and I like how you brought up that quality versus quantity sort of thing, with AI, like how you're not satisfied with like how that AI was writing all these blogs, because it's less meaningful to you. Like, you really want to put your heart into this work, especially if your name's signed at the bottom,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so I think it's this kind of clash of push and pull, like quality versus quantity, and like where you utilize AI in your creative flow, what I mean? Whether it's writing scripts, but like not doing too much where it's really making waves for you, in your photos, or, what I mean?
Exactly.
Changing the full scope of the work.
At least going back in and just like editing something enough where it's like you are a part of the work.
Yeah.
And it's not completely algorithm based, I think is super important. I remember, I think what's really rough is coming from a writer's perspective and background. I did a lot of copywriting and like professional writing. It's tough to like, I've fed things that I've written into, like those systems where they check for AI,
Yeah.
and it can't tell because, like, if you write very technically,
Yeah.
it just thinks
That it's
you're robotic in a way,
wow.
which is tough because it's like, how people are just going to think I'm writing AI. Like, even my captions sometimes on Instagram, sometimes I just keep it simple. I'm like, I saw a turtle today,
Yeah,
or some
yeah.
shit like that, just because I don't want people to think that like I'm going into ChatGPT and like copying and pasting. I never do that. If anything, the times that I was using
Chat.
AI or chat, I'd like, copy it and then like edit it to hell, like, until it was like, all right,
It's
now
you.
I'm gonna put it's me.
Still you.
But it's rough when like AI is now like unable to discern what's human.
Yeah. No, 100%.
That's bad.
I've noticed they've because I'm going to school right now. I've noticed they're taking AI detectors out of their scan tools, and I think it's because of the reason you brought up. If you're really technical writer, it's hard to distinguish like, oh, is he actually AI or is it like or is it human?
Yeah, if you learn like APA style writing or like proper citation, it'll think you're AI because it's like, oh, no one could ever do that. It's like, well, that's what I learned in college.
Yeah.
I learned that in high school and college. It's not, I learned English.
Bro, it's crazy
Sorry.
too because like the algorithm loves consistency, it loves quantity. You know what I mean? So like building something that's quality doesn't always, you can't always like just fucking just bust that out every single time. Every single like 30 times a day, and post it to your timeline and grow that fan base, you know?
Exactly.
So, okay. But I think we might just end it there. I don't know how long we went. I think it's one of our longer ones, but we're having fun, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Phillip, cool. Shout out your Instagram so the people can follow you.
Yeah, it's just at Phillip Hernandez, PhillipHernandez. I answer all my DMs. So yeah, follow.
Dope. Yeah, thanks for having us. Follow Made by Homegrown. Thanks for watching the podcast. This has been episode 3. Peace.